Hello, my name is Chris and I'm a U-Haul hitch professional. If you're planning on towing a trailer with your Honda Passport, then you're going to need trailer wiring. It is required by the law. Now let's take a look at this easy install. You will need the following tools and supplies to complete this installation. Begin this installation with your rear seats lowered so that you can fold the floorboard forward. We can now remove the rear cargo tray by spinning the locking tabs 90 degrees counterclockwise. We're also going to remove the spare tire for this installation. Spin the locking tab counterclockwise to release the spare. You can also relocate the jack hardware and the styrofoam insert so that you can lift the carpet when we go to expose the grommet for the wiring. You can now lift up and remove your rear threshold. Gently pull up to release the clips underneath. We can now begin loosening the driver's side trim, first with this tie-down hook. Use a flathead screwdriver to expose a Phillips head screw. Use a flathead screwdriver on this tie-down to expose an 8mm bolt. You can now use a trim panel tool to pop the retaining clips on the driver's side trim. There is an electrical connection behind this trim panel that you will want to remove so we do not pull any wires. Use a small flathead screwdriver to push down on the tab and pull it out. You can now pull back enough of the driver's trim to expose the tow harness. Some trim models you may find a plug actually plugged in here. You will need to depress the tab and remove that connection. The harness has a connection for that to plug into. We are now ready to install the harness. For those of you that had the adapter plugged in, it will plug into this piece here. We, however, do not need to use it. You can now affix the white ground wire to this ground screw using a 10mm socket. Pass your harness underneath the trim panel towards the front of the vehicle so we can pull back the carpeted trim and expose the access port where we will pass the wire harness under the vehicle. It is located at a grommet here. You will find that your model may have a plastic cover like ours. We can go ahead and use a trim panel tool to pop these clips so we can get the rubber out from underneath. Repeat for the remaining clips to expose the grommet. The plastic cover can be slid off the final 2 clips. Now pull up on our grommet, expose the access hole. You can now cut a slit through the grommet to allow the wire to pass through it without rubbing against the metal edge of the vehicle. You can now pass the connection through the access hole. It is a tight squeeze and you will have to push on it a little bit, but it will fit through sideways. Pass all the length of wire under the vehicle through our cut and we can reseat the grommet. You can now use the provided silicone to fill in the cut. Use one of the provided zip ties to tie the harness out of the way so the plastic cover will be able to return. Slide the plastic cover back onto its clips and push in the remaining clips. Now return your carpeted trim. We can now secure our converter box. As well, we can secure any loose wiring. You can now reinstall the driver trim. Don't forget to reconnect the electrical connection. Now reinstall the 8mm bolt that is hiding behind the tie down. You can now replace all the floor coverings. With everything installed up in the cargo area of the vehicle, let's go ahead and route our wiring harness from where it is up to our bracket. You will notice we went ahead and installed our bracket when we raised the hitch into place. We'll go ahead and show you how we put that in real quick. Use the screw and lock nut to install the bracket. If you do not have one of these, you can purchase one at your nearest local U-Haul hitch center, or you can order one from the link in the description. Use a Phillips head screwdriver and a 3/8 socket to tighten the hardware. Pass your harness over this existing electrical connection to use it as a zip tie point. Now pass the harness through the bracket, make the connection with the socket, and affix the socket with the provided hardware. can now tighten the hardware with a 3/8 wrench and a Phillips head screwdriver. We can now secure the excess slack in the wiring. Go ahead and use the long provided zip tie to zip tie the wiring up to the crossbar of the hitch. Then pull any excess slack forward and zip tie to the electrical connection we passed over. We can now install tow package fuses in the fuse panel located in the engine compartment. Remove this small fuse panel cover. The first 30 amp J-case fuse will go in this large slot right here. The second 20 amp fuse will go in this next slot, which is the trailer e-brake. And your final one goes in this first slot up here for the trailer charge, all which are labeled on the fuse panel cover. Now reinstall the fuse cover. This is how you access the fuse holder that we hid near the fuel door pull release. You can now recover with the trim cover. That concludes the 7-round wiring harness installation for your Honda Passport. Remember to practice safe trailering, and we can't wait to see you out there. If you have any questions about the products seen in this video, or if you'd like to schedule an installation with your local U-Haul hitch professional, please visit us online at uhaulhitches.com. You can also download the U-Haul app using the link in the description for even more ways to manage your hitch and towing needs.